Good morning to you all, dear students of class 7. Welcome back once again to our, as usual, English literature class. As all of you know it very well, that in my previous class, I had already started a new topic with you, a new chapter, and the topic it was Marie Curie, A Radiant Life. Those who have not been able to follow this chapter, those who were absent, you are supposed to find out my previous video and then go through it properly so that you can understand. It will be easier for you to understand the chapter well. Okay, so today we are going to start the second page of the chapter Marie Curie, A Radiant Life, and the page number that today I am going to teach you is 34, page number 34. Those who have not opened the books yet, please open your books and follow it properly. So here I begin the very first paragraph of this page. When her daughter Irene, a future Nobel Prize winner, was born, the idea of choosing between family and the scientific career did not even cross Marie's mind. Even though, after the marriage, when a daughter was born, the name of the daughter was Irene. Later on, she had even won the Nobel Prize, So, this did not make any difference in Marie Curie's career, her professional life. She was a scientist, so it did not make any difference to her to carry on her profession, to do her experimentation, to do her different types of investigation in the field of science, even though after a daughter was born. Isn't it? So here we come to know that the idea of choosing between family and the scientific career did not even cross Mary's mind. It did not cross her mind. It did not bring any such type of difficulties in front of her so that she could not continue her duties well in the field of science. With Perry's support, she kept house, watched her baby daughter, but she also kept on working in a laboratory. At the same time, she got a very good support from her husband, Pierre Curie. I think you remember the name, husband's name, Pierre Curie. He was also a scientist by profession. So in this way, Pierre also provided a very good support to his wife Mary. In this way, both the husband and the wife were able to continue their works in the field of science jointly together with no difficulties ahead in their life after getting married, even after having a baby child. So here we come to know about Mary's life ahead. She kept house, watched her baby daughter, but she also kept on working in laboratories. She also continued to do the various experimental works in the laboratories itself, working towards the most important discovery of modern science. She was found to be very busy to work behind the various experiments, discoveries of the modern science. This is what we come to know here, children. Pierre Curie, who had followed the rapid progress of his wife's experiments with passionate interest, now abandoned his own research in order to aid with hers. In this way, Pierre Curie, who was also very supportive to his wife, whatever the various works that the wife did in the laboratories, even though Perry himself had so many responsibilities and the duties, but he did not neglect the wife's interest. All the time, every moment, Perry also tried his best to provide every possible support, every possible assistance in order to bring development in Marie Curie's whatever scientific researches and the scientific various type of investigations and the experimentations. This is what we can come to know here, children, about both of these two persons understanding with each other. Two brains, four hands now sought the unknown element in the damp little storeroom that served as their laboratory. Okay, here two brains means the two persons, Marie Curie and Pierre Curie. Four hands, as you understand it very well, four hands, both of these two persons together sought the unknown element in the damp little. Every possible unknown materials, every possible unknown things, both of these two together, both of them together tried their level best to find out the solution of those unknown elements in that very little storeroom which was found to be damp enough in that particular, in their house, in that small laboratory of their house. By July 1898, they were able to announce the discovery of a new element in this way. After a long struggle, after a very tough times, hard work with full of dedication and devotion in the field of science, finally and ultimately, in the year 1898, in the month of July, both of them together, husband and wife together, were able to find out and make an announcement of the discovery of a very new type of element. Mary named it polonium. The element which they had discovered, Mary liked to name this element to be called as polonium after her beloved Poland. She liked to keep the name polonium because she was very much passionate, she was very much loving her country Poland. As being a beloved of Poland, she wanted to keep the name it as polonium. Okay children, in December of the same year, the Curies announced the existence of a second new element in this way. Just after that, in December, after that particular month of July, in the same year of 1898, in the following months of December of the same year, the Curies announced the existence of a new chemical element. Again, they were successful enough to be able to announce a very new type of chemical element which they called it as radium. In this way, both of them, the husband and wife, Pierre Curie as well as Marie Curie, were able to find out that new chemical element, discover that new chemical element, and they named it as radium, an element whose radioactivity they believe to be enormous. Enormous means very big, isn't it? This is what we come to know here in these two paragraphs of this page, children. Now we move on to the next paragraph, children. Here I begin. Dressed in her old dust-covered and acid-stained smock. Here, smock means a kind of outfit which usually the women in those times used to wear, a very long and loose elongated type of cloth which was found to be in a very acidic condition because of the various works in that laboratory. The cloth was filled with dust, acid, several other chemicals it was with. That is why it is here called as dust covered and acid stained smock. Alright, so this is what we come to know. Her hair brown by the wind. Even the condition of the hair was looking brown in color because of the continuous wind it used to be blowing in those times of the experimentations, Surrounded by bitter smoke from her experiments which stung her eyes and throat. Even at the time of the experiments, several times in occasion, smoke used to evolve, because of which even her eyes, isn't it, her throat, everything, it was found to be looking very much not in proper condition. By bitter smoke of those experiments, her eyes were also, and her throats even were not found to be in proper condition. Mary was a virtual factory all by herself in this way. How do Mary look like? She herself looked like a factory herself. Isn't it? Why it is referred here, Mary to be looked like a factory herself? Because she was working, she was doing her works like those, how do the factory it works for the production of the various things. In this way, Mary also worked non-stop, continuously for a long time in order to evolve new things, in order to discover new things, produce new things like a factory itself. That is why she is here compared with a factory, and no doubt she was a factory of science, isn't it? So many things she discovered. She was the person responsible for the evolution of various things in the field of science. That is why the author also here likes to compare Marie Curie with a factory here, isn't it? Okay. These were some of the happiest years of her life. In this way, the way in which she walked, the way in which she was successful also in her work, in this proper cause, she regards this particular year to be her most successful year, and that is why she feels to be the happiest person in this particular year, children. Money for research was not easy to come by, and the curious continued to teach to supplement their income. So, by the way in which they walked in the field of science, and the amount of income that they had through it was not sufficient enough to look after their family and maintenance of their family, isn't it? So, in order to maintain the various requirements of the household, what Marie Curie had to do the other works, she also had to continue her work of teaching as a supplement, so she was doing the scientific research works also at the same time at the one hand. On the other hand, in order to provide the requirements, in order to manage the requirements of the household things, she also used to teach at the same time as a supplement for the income purpose, so this is what we come to understand here about their personal livelihood, children. Torn between their own work and their jobs, they often forgot to eat and sleep. They were found to be so much busy in their works in the field of experiments, discoveries, isn't it? They were found to be so much involved in their duty all the time, day and night. Even they forgot sometimes to have their breakfast or dinner or supper. Even sometimes they forgot to sleep also. This was their condition, children. Thus, radioactivity grew and developed in this way. Finally and ultimately, because of their hard work, because of their full effort, full dedication, devotion in this work, they were able and they were successful enough to develop the radioactivity grew and developed in this way. Radioactivity was also they were able to develop now, children. Meanwhile, existing little by little, the pair of physicists who had given it life in this way, both of these two had given their whole life in this field, and because of their full attachment and the involvement and the cent%, their contribution, their hard work in this field had finally given a very fruitful result to gain from it. In this way, both of these two, Marie Curie as well as Pierre Curie, were very happy to find out and to get a very fruitful result after a long struggle and a very hard work. That is what we come to learn and understand here in these various paragraphs, children. So finally, they achieved the miraculous outcome of their effort of purifying radium. In this way, after a hard work, after a lot of effort made towards to it, they were successful enough purifying the radium-2, which was like a miracle for them. They had not imagined, they had not thought that how very soon they would be able, successful enough to even to purify the radium-2, but it happened. That is why it is referred here like achieved the miraculous outcome. Okay, this is how it becomes the whatever the result, it becomes very miraculous. Radium could become the ally of human beings. On the other hand, radium also would be used as to be one of the ally of human beings in the war against cancer for the treatment of a very severe disease, cancer. This is what it was found later. In this way, by the discovery of radium, even the severe to the severe diseases like cancer also could be treated properly and well. This is what it made the discovery of radium so important, and that is what both of these two were very happy to do this type of experiment and discovery in this particular field of science. A radium industry was about to be born. In this way, because of their hard work, because of their attachment, involvement in this particular field, a new industry was about to develop, about to born. What was that industry? Undoubtedly, the industry of radium. Okay? Perry explained these things to his wife one Sunday morning. All these things related to the discovery of radium. One day Sunday morning, as it was a free time for them, both the husband and the wife sit together, and Perry start discussing about all these things with his wife Mary. We have two choices. Perry told her, we can describe the result of our research without reverse. Either we can discuss about our researches without any reserves to everyone, to everybody else, including the process of purification. We can also explain the purification matter also to others, or the other option it is, or else we can consider ourselves to be the proprietors, or we can tell to the others, we can make others understand that we are ourselves are the owner of this particular evolution of radium, purification of radium. These are the two different choices that we have. This is what Perry here discussed about this matter with his wife Mary. Proprietors, the inventors of radium, patent the technique and manufacture radium throughout the world. In this way, after that, once we become the proprietor of the radium, then we can be called as to be the patent. What do we mean by patent? Patent means an official right to be the only person to make, use or sell a product or an invention. Once they become the patent, they have the full authority, they have the full right to sell or to keep it or to sell it, whatever they like to do it, whatever the discovery that they have made, whatever the result that they have been able to make about radium. This is what finally Perry discussed about this matter with his wife Mary. Mary reflected for a few seconds. She kept on thinking and thinking about this matter for a few seconds. Then she said, it's impossible. Then finally she spoke out. What she said? It is not possible. It is impossible. It would be contrary to scientific spirit. She says it is not justified. If we do so, we are scientists. We are doing our investigations, experimentations, discoveries for the welfare of the others, for the advantage of the others, for the advantage of the world, universe. So if we think so, we are trying to become ourselves more and more commercial. So that is why it is not quite suitable enough, it is not quite possible enough, it would be contrary to scientific spirit. It will not give us any such satisfaction finally and ultimately, and it is not towards to the spirit of science too. This is what the opinion it was placed by Mary in front of her husband Perry. Children, Perry's serious face lightened. In this way, the way in which Mary talked, the way in which Mary responded, Perry was also influenced by it, and that is why his face was also found to be lightened, means he was also quite happy in mood by the thoughts of his wife Mary. So this is what we come to learn here, children. The entire page number 34 today I have taught you. So this much for today. We will be continuing the remaining part of the chapter in our next class. I hope you have been able to follow me properly. So you have to remain always in touch, keep following the chapters lessons with no any such kind of irregularity. So if you have missed any chapters or lessons, you can just go behind my previous videos and then understand it well. So thank you very much for today. Take care.